because you've got your track written and your arrangement done, you don't have to worry now about any of the writing part of it. You're simply concentrating now on getting the sound right. We go through all our drums like that, fitting them into the mix as best as possible. Then we would look at the bass. Obviously, it's the next part. I think instantly that could be a little bit too subby for this room.
I think bass is something that you really do have to check out on different systems.
Yeah.
I mean, bass is something that we're always constantly analysing. You know, I take it to my studio at home. We take it in a club. We do it in the car. It can be very, very tricky to get bang right in the bass. It's just a matter of testing it out and seeing what sounds right. So.
100%. Unless you're working in a studio that's spent hundreds of £1,000s being sonically treated.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, then, you know, you're always going to have to be testing this stuff out. And then it depends what key you're writing in and how that's working against the kick drum and all that kind of stuff. And then, as I mentioned before, you don't want to over mix it, so you lose that vibe and that energy. You can see here with the bass, I've removed all the top end stuff that you can't really hear. There's just no need for it. It's the bass. This is a sub bass part. It's not an electro record where you need a big fizzy bright bass. Got the bass going to a group there which is monoing it up. Always best to keep your bass and your kicks in mono. You'll be surprised how many sound systems out there aren't actually in proper real stereo. And if you have a big stereo bass, you could be standing over side of one side of the dance floor and have no bass, and standing over the other side.
I've actually played a record where that's happened before. It's yeah, they must have mixed it down wrong.
Yeah, so one side has got bass and one side hasn't, and it's like so always best to keep those in mono. We tend to anyway. Just remove some of the sub there. Again, you know, people go on about what's rules and what's not rules. There's really is. It's whatever sounds good within the record you're making, because sometimes you get a record, you think, well, it's way too subby. Someone plays it in a club and everyone goes absolutely nuts because it's that record with the big, huge sub bass.
Yeah, I've got to stress at this point, music sounds totally different on a loud system. There's so many times I've listened to something through headphones or on a smaller system and thought, it's all right. Hear it out in a club and fucking hell, it blows your socks off. So, you know, the smallest little bit of adjustment to what you're doing here will make a major difference to what you do what it sounds like when you play out in a club.
Definitely.